by cutting deductions, isn't that the same as raising tax rates then, but still keeping the deduction? Yeah, because if you raise the rate to 35% and all you're getting is a 5% deduction rate, then you're going from 25 to 30. That's still a tax increase. Your rates are still going up. Does nobody else see this?
You said in the Rose Garden, the day after the attack, it was an act of terror. It was not a spontaneous demonstration. Is that what you're saying?
Please proceed, Governor.
It is in response to a video, a film. This is in response to a video.
Internet video that we had nothing to do with.
That was spontaneous? Was it a planned attack? Was there a terrorist element to it?
This is a response to a hateful and offensive video.
The video and its influence on the protests that occurred in Cairo and Benghazi. In response to this video, it was the video that caused the unrest in Cairo, that precipitated some of the unrest in Benghazi. It was sparked by the reaction to this video. The video was a precipitating cause to the unrest, specifically in Libya. Might take advantage of a situation that was brought about initially as a response to the video in question.
Natural protests that arose because of the outrage over the video.
You're totally correct that they spent 2 weeks telling us this was about a tape and that there was this riot outside the Benghazi consulate, which there wasn't.
Natural protests that arose because of the outrage over the video.
I was in chronic pain, and my family struggling to make ends meet, food and gas prices going up, even keeping my job was iffy. Then I learned about a new miracle drug made in Washington, D.C., Spenditol. Spenditol is Washington's answer to all the painful problems Americans face. How to borrow $800 billion for a stimulus that didn't create jobs or fix the economy? Spenditol.
Spenditol is not for everyone. Side effects may include a mountain of government debt piled on our kids, a sudden loss of freedoms, higher prices for everything, leaving our kids a lesser America than we had. Ask your doctor or congressman if your conscience is strong enough for Spenditol.
And it's so popular in Washington, we have to import trillions more of it from China. Spenditol makes you feel better now and pushes off the really bad stuff till later, for them to deal with.
Call the White House and Congress. Tell them, stop spending it all.
Feeling lonely this holiday season? Looking for little human interaction? Do you want to feel contact in certain special places?
Then why not go through security at an airport?
The TSA.
TSA agents are ready and standing by to give you a little something extra to feel thankful about this holiday season.
The TSA.
What are you waiting for? I want to check under your testicles.
Spending time with a TSA agent couldn't be easier. Simply book a flight departing from any American airport. When selected for a full body scanner, say no. You'll be pulled aside by a TSA agent, and that's when the fun begins. And you never know who your agent will be.
It could be me. Or me. Or even me.
But it's probably gonna be us. Take off your damn shoe.
The TSA. It's our business to touch yours.
Welcome to the Bureau of Womanhood Conformity. Independent thoughts are considered subversive because all must agree with our leader.
When it comes to women, preventative care should include coverage of contraceptive services such as birth control.
You see, if you don't believe government should pay for your birth control, you're not a real woman. Womanhood denied. If you refuse to accept that pregnancy is a punishment, you're denied as well.
I don't want them punished with a baby.
If you don't believe that abortions should be allowed for any reason, if you don't believe in aborting a child for being the wrong gender, and if you don't believe that stay-at-home mothers aren't real workers, you are not a real conformed woman.
His wife has actually never worked a day in her life. His wife has actually never worked a day in her life.
Finally, for your safety, if you oppose mandatory government health care, you will die.
They will be voting to say that women can die on the floor.
These standards and regulations were formed after our glorious victory in the war on women. Thank you for your cooperation and your conformity.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
And we are back. A powerful voice of freedom. That's my voice here on The Rod Eccles Show. Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. We got some great stuff coming up at the turn of the year. 2013, yes, I fully expect to be on the air, on the microphone. It's kind of interesting because the end of the world is supposed to take place on a Friday, so you it'll extend the weekend. Since it's happening on, I don't know. Some people might say that's a great time for the world to end because, it's on the weekend, everybody gets out of work, that kind of thing. And some might say, well, it's unfair because it blows the weekend, and we've already had enough rain and probably snow in certain places to blow people's weekends, and it should take place on a Monday. End of the world should take place on a Monday, not a Friday. But December 21st. For those of you who really want to know, is a Friday, and I do think, for those people who are on a bi-monthly pay schedule, it's you got a week because it's the 15th is usually a payday around the 15th of the month, so. That following week is like you're halfway between paychecks, so you might still have a little bit of money left, but hopefully you don't blow it all on the weekend before the weekend of the end. And who knows? It may not. Well, you have to understand that the Mayans didn't say that the world would come to an end, as in. The world would blow up or life would be snuffed out on the planet. No, I don't. That's not what the interpretation was. Is that it was the end of an age, which means, and some people say, well, it means it's the end of life as we know it, but not the end of life. It doesn't mean a nuclear holocaust. It doesn't, but it could be a physical one. Because you gotta figure what's going on in Washington with all of this tax and cliff, fiscal cliff talk going on. You gotta love now news is dramatized. Oh, it's a fiscal cliff. Yes, dun dun dun. So Republicans propose a revenue generating. Revenue generating spending cuts today in their formal proposal to avert a fiscal cliff that could push the U.S. economy into recession. Now, after days of stalemate, I love this, the president and Bonnier are at an impasse. The Bonnier doesn't have to look, folks. I have said this I don't know how many times that I did not like Bonnier as being the head of the House. I did not like him being Speaker. I thought he was a wimpy, wishy-washy crybaby. And don't tell me, well, he's in touch with his... No, BS. Come on. Needed somebody who's going to stand in there and say, look, there were times when Bonnier did stand up and did throw some, verbal punches, which was good. But he should have been, constantly throwing he should be, how many, there was one single person. There is one single person in this entire government, entire country, that could have helped Mitt Romney win more than anybody else. Does anybody know who that is? It is none other than Bonnier. Now, I know some people on the right are thinking, well, he didn't get positive press. Oh, come on. Conservatives haven't gotten positive press in probably 60 years, so it's nothing new. But tell me, even though, Republicans and conservatives don't get positive press, how did Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and George Bush win? How did they win? None of them got positive. They all got smacked. They all got bad press, negative press, but they were still able to get their message out without alternative media and the internet. Think about that for a second. Now, here, we've got this wonderful social media outlet, and everybody talking about, well, there's an alternative press and an alternative media out there with the internet. Hey, and talk radio. There's an alternative out there, and we got Fox News is full, is finally coming to their own. Look, let me tell you something. We had it all this year. We had somebody who understood how to use social media, and he Romney used social media better than any other Republican ever has to date. We had Fox out there trying to tell the truth. We had alternative media and talk radio just hammering away at the president. But the one person who could have done this from the beginning, from 2010, when he was immaculated as the Speaker of the House, was John Bonnier. And, you still have, yes, in a small way, you can attribute it to the lamestream media, but most people, even some of us on the conservative side, believe that most of the physical woes and inactivity of Congress was Bonnier's fault, not Harry Reid. Because Bonnier wasn't out there throwing knockout punches on a daily basis. Hey, Mr. President, we'll work with you. No, you stand up and say, Mr. President, this is what we believe the people want. This is the people's house. The people elected our representatives in this house. They have stated, by the numbers of our superiority of conservatives in the House of Representatives, the people do not want bigger spending, bigger taxes. The people want a budget. They want it passed. Mr. Reid is standing in the way of us, 1, balancing the budget, 2, even passing a budget, and 3, keeping tax rates low. He's not doing that. I mean, he should be standing in front of a microphone on a daily basis, so it cannot be ignored. The one